This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome back. And I'm First Alert Meteorologist CJ Cartledge here, diving on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown for today. And this is actually going to be the last time I'll be on for this week. Meteorologist Evan Thomason will be on later on through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But we have a pretty interesting topic for you guys for today. We're going to be talking about weather trivia. I'm not sure if you guys got the push notification because it came out a little late. We're having some technical difficulties on that. But if you know anyone that likes trivia in general or wants to test out their weather knowledge, make sure to tell them to tune in to this episode for today. We're going to be diving into some questions about clouds. The topic on the weather trivia for today will be about clouds, and we're going to be diving into that after we go through the local forecast, which shows some pretty interesting topics that we can expect here in the Arklatex through the next 7 days ahead here. So, just diving into a look outside right now through our KSLA tower camera. We're looking at some clouds in the distance here associated with that cold front, believe it or not. It's actually bringing some cloud cover as well as a couple of isolated showers along that front here, but it's well outside of the region as of right now. And we're going to be diving into where exactly it is with the very next graphic that we have here. As you can see with current satellite and radar, we are watching a very long line of cooler air moving across the midsections of the country right now. It's ranging all the way from portions of southwestern New Mexico and southeastern Arizona, all the way into the Great Lakes region and into some portions of the north and eastern United States. They're getting some, more than likely getting some rain showers out there, some very heavy cloud cover, especially for those near Indiana and Ohio, as well as Pennsylvania and New York. And those areas along the Great Lakes region, they are all getting a bit of some possibly rain out there and some heavy cloud cover, if not any rain showers. But along that, just behind the front is a high pressure system waiting to move in from Canada here. It's going to be bringing near or below average temperatures to most areas in the northern United States, as well as here in the southern United States as well. So we're definitely going to be getting some more fall-like conditions here in the Arklatex as we move into the rest of this work week after this cold front moves through. Here's a look at where we are right now across the Arklatex. Maybe a couple of clouds in the northern half of the region, and actually we saw that with the sky camera there. As you can see, clear skies overhead here near Shreveport and Bossier. Just a bit of some cloud cover up by Texarkana, which we could see in the distance with that sky camera that we saw earlier before. But here's a look at temperatures right now. Still in the 70s for most of the Arklatex. 79 near Shreveport, same for Minden. 75 for Texarkana. 73 for Magnolia. 81 by Mount Pleasant. 79 for Longview and around 80 for Carthage, 79 also for Nacogdoches. Now, we will be seeing some higher humidity, just like we saw yesterday with that upper level low moving through the Arklatex. We will be seeing some higher humidity for today, which will cause feels like temperatures to rise a couple of degrees higher than actual temperatures for the daytime hours. 82 it feels like near Shreveport, and as well as the lower 80s for Mansfield, Carthage, and Nacogdoches. Feels like the lower 70s up by Idabel and DeQueen, mid 70s by Texarkana. And it feels like the upper 80s by Natchitoches as of right now. Pretty warm out there currently as of 10:33. Here's a look at the next 12 hours ahead. So through the rest of the daytime hours and into the evening, we should see partly cloudy conditions, maybe an isolated shower or two, but it's not looking, the chances aren't looking so great here for an isolated shower. Very similar to what we saw for yesterday with a couple of isolated showers in the northern half of the region. But you may want to bring that umbrella out just in case you receive an isolated shower or two. But once again, the chances aren't great. Temperatures are expected to rise into the lower 90s and upper 80s across the region as we move into this afternoon before temperatures make their descent into the 70s as we move towards this evening. Here's a look at the highs for today around the region. 91 by Shreveport and Texarkana, around 88 for Marshall, 89 by Idabel and DeQueen. So much warmer, much higher temperatures, or much higher maximum temperatures for the eastern half of the Arklatex, and slightly higher temperatures for the western half near East Texas. 90 by Longview, 91 for Nacogdoches, 90 for Coshada and Natchitoches, around 89 for Winfield. But the feels like temperatures, or high feels like temperatures, maximum feels like temperatures for today are expected to reach more into the lower 90s, some of us into the upper 80s, who are dealing with more of the mid 80s for highs today. 88 by Minden, 94 by Shreveport and Bossier. I know yesterday we got up to 98 for a feels like high yesterday near Shreveport and Bossier, and a couple areas around the Arklatex, or most areas around the Arklatex, saw feels like maximum feels like temperatures in the lower to mid 90s. Shreveport was definitely the outlier at 98 for a maximum feels like high yesterday. 90 by DeQueen, around 89 for Idabel, 91 for Hope. And over in highs for tomorrow, actually, for our Wednesday, we could see slightly lower temperatures out there around the region because of slightly cooler air moving in along that cold front after it moves through. But we are expecting even cooler conditions as we move through the next couple of days after that. 88 by Shreveport, 88 for Mansfield, 88 also for Marshall, lower 80s by Idabel and DeQueen. And we should see most areas only rising to the lower 80s, lower to mid 80s as we move into the rest of the work week here. 87 for Texarkana, around 85 for Minden as well as Ruston. Now looking at the feels like temperatures for tomorrow, still feeling like the lower 90s across the region and mid and upper 80s for the northern half of the Arklatex. So still dealing with some slight humidity by that time frame. But looking at highs for tomorrow, for highs for the next couple of days after that, going through the rest of the work week and into the weekend, highs drop to the low to mid 80s by our Thursday, a high of 84 for Shreveport. I can expect some areas could only rise into the upper 70s once that cooler air finally reaches the Arklatex by Thursday, which will be the coolest day of the work week here. We should see temperatures try to make their way back towards and above the average for this time of year, heading through the rest of the week and into this weekend. Now, looking at the Muggy meter, this shows the greatest difference that we will see as compared to the beginning and end of the work week here. As you can see for our Wednesday, we should see sticky feeling humidity, same for today out there, as dew points will be closer to the actual temperatures as compared to days in the past here, especially throughout this past weekend. We didn't see much humidity, but we did see a rise in that humidity. But we are expecting that humidity to drastically drop to that comfortable range, and possibly as comfortable as can be, with drier air moving in from the north heading into our Thursday and Friday, to be honest. But heading through the weekend, comfortable conditions remain, and we could see a slight rise in humidity, still remaining comfortable though heading into the start of the new work week. But here's our rain chances. After that cold front moves through, knocks them all out through the rest of the work week and into this weekend as well. So nothing much really to worry about rain-wise after we go through today. Here's a look at future track, and as you can see, that cold front will slowly make its way towards the Arklatex through the daytime hours and headed to this evening. An isolated shower or two cannot be ruled out, but heading into this afternoon, an isolated shower or two cannot be ruled out. Heading towards the evening hours, nothing much is really expected. And heading into our Wednesday, we should see a bit of some cloud cover as this cold front, or finally the cold front will move through by the time we hit our Wednesday. The initial front will, but that cooler air that's sitting right behind it will be a bit delayed here. As you can see, it washes away all that cloud cover that we were still sitting with through the daytime hours on Wednesday, and northerly winds will keep us cool through the next couple of days afterwards as we end off this work week here. So moving on to the tropics, we actually have a newly formed tropical storm out there in the Atlantic right now. It's now named Jerry, and it actually formed into a tropical storm as of the 10 o'clock update. So this is pretty breaking news out there in the tropics right now. This is our 10th named storm of this year's hurricane season. It currently sits at 45 mile per hour sustained winds, pressure of 1006, and it's moving west at around 24 miles per hour. So it's moving pretty fast as compared to the average speed for hurricanes. But out there in the Atlantic, it's expected to make its way west-northwestward and remain a tropical storm through today and into tomorrow morning. By the time we hit tomorrow evening, it could strengthen to a Category 1 strength and remain that way, as it makes a similar track as compared to storms like Humberto, as well as Gabrielle, as well as Aaron. Taking the circulation, following that circulation of the Bermuda high pressure system, which curves it up to the north as we move into the end of the work weekend into this weekend, remaining not a tropical storm, but a Category 1 hurricane as it does so. But the forecast could change, so make sure to stay weather aware on that front. It's not expected to make any types of landfall through the next few days ahead. Here's a look at the tropical outlook, though. We do have an area of potential development there in the Gulf, which has a 10% chance of formation within the next 2 days and the next 7 days ahead. It has a low chance of reaching tropical storm status, but it is not. I wanted to put myself back on the screen here without putting myself full screen. It's a slow morning for today. But here's a look at what we are expecting for this tropical system. It's not yet a defined tropical system. It's not yet an invest, but it's making its way through the Bay of Campeche and into the Gulf as we move into the next couple of days here. Has a 10% chance of formation within the next 2 and 7 days, so low chance of doing so. But we'll continue to watch it very, very closely as these Gulf waters are still very, very warm and very conducive for tropical development through the next 7 days and through the rest of the hurricane season. If it does reach a tropical storm status, though, it will be named Karen. Tropical Storm Karen is the next name on the list here. Here's our 7-day forecast real fast. We are expecting slight rain chances for today. No rain chances through the rest of the forecast period here as temperatures drop from the 90s into the 80s, well into the 80s, especially by the time we hit our Thursday, and some areas maybe even the 70s out there. Heading into our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, rain chances remain low, but temperatures slowly make their way back above the average, and we should see the lower 90s once again heading into the start of the new work week that we have coming up. So fall-like conditions will be here as we move into our Thursday for the most part around the region, but it's not expected to last long, and that temperature outlook for the next 6 to 10 days and the next 8 to 14 days shows that we are expecting above average temperatures through that time frame, and through the month of October, actually, we are expecting above average temperatures here. So only a few instances of fall will be likely throughout this month, but not much is really expected. Not much instances of fall until we reach the later months of the year, more than likely by November and possibly even into December as well. But we're going to be going into some weather trivia coming up right after the break. I'll be back in just around 2 minutes. So get your brains readied up and get your brains warmed up with some trivia because you guys will be tested coming up in just around 2 minutes. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you guys have got your brains ready for this trivia. This is the first installed episode that we are doing weather trivia here, outside of the Met chats that we have been doing in the past. But this is more for the viewers here. This is more to test you all's knowledge of what you know about the weather. And today's topic will be about clouds. So, starting off with the first trivia question that we have for today is here. We're going to be getting started here. As you can see, which cloud is commonly associated with thunderstorms out there? So we'll have four multiple choice questions out there. That's why you see the four black lines that you see there on the screen here. So I'm going to move myself off the screen so you guys can see the answer choices here. And I'm going to give you guys around 15 to maybe 30 seconds. Actually, I'm going to give you guys 15 seconds just to think about what your answer is. And the right answer will be popping up on the screen in the green color. So stratus, nimbostratus, cumulonimbus, or the altostratus clouds, or which one of these is commonly associated with thunderstorms? Now I'm gonna give you guys 15 seconds to think about it, and we're gonna be talking about the answer after 15 seconds. Ready, set, go. All right, and now here's the time to answer the question. Which cloud is commonly associated with thunderstorms? And the answer is cumulonimbus. So cumulonimbus clouds are more associated with thunderstorms, mainly because of their tall height and the high amount of precipitation that they hold in those clouds there. Cumulus is another word for a ball or a heap or a type of cluster of clouds there, and nimbus is pretty much a thick layer. It's another word for thick. So ball of heap, thick clouds, and they're actually pretty tall as well. They're the tallest type of clouds that out of all of the different types of clouds that you see there that are possible. But cumulonimbus clouds are commonly associated with thunderstorms. Now, moving on to the next question here. At higher altitudes, what is the highest speed that clouds can travel? This is something that I didn't even know researching before putting this question on here. So this is going to be a pretty interesting thing to think about here. The different answer choices are 60 miles per hour, 70, 80, or 100 plus. So think about your answer. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds now to give you a little bit long of a time here, I felt like, for the last question. So give you think about your answer, and I'll be back in around 10 seconds. All right, if you guys thought about your answer, lock it in. The answer is actually 100, more than 100 miles per hour. I did do my research on this before, and clouds at higher altitudes where the wind is higher, they can travel more than 100 miles per hour, and in some cases as high as 100 miles per hour. The reason why is because at higher altitudes, winds are a little bit faster as compared to the surface, mainly because of the lack of friction. As winds move along the surface, they're combated with different things like trees and maybe even grass at the extremely lower levels, which is where the winds are the weakest. But at higher altitudes, and it also encounter buildings too. So winds are also hit by buildings as they're moving wherever they move, north to south, west to east, south to north, east to west. They're encountered by many different things, but higher in the sky, where there's not much of those things that are on the ground, the winds can race at extremely high speeds there. But clouds are especially rolling along with those wind speeds there. So as long as winds are high at higher speeds, that's as fast as clouds can travel. It's more than 100 miles per hour in some rare cases there. Now, moving on to the last trivia question I have for you guys today is, which of these main cloud types is not one of the main cloud types? Which is not one of the main cloud types out of these options that we have here, which are altus, cirrus, cumulus, or stratus? So think about this question real quick, or think about the answer choices real quick. Have you ever heard of an altus cloud, a cirrus cloud, a cumulus cloud, or a stratus cloud? that's just to help you guys out a little bit. That's my little hint for you guys. Think about the answer, and I'll come back in around 10 seconds. All right, I hope you guys thought about your answer, which is not one of the main types of clouds. And the answer is, drum roll, altus clouds. Altus is actually not a type of cloud. All the other choices here are different types of clouds, and cirrus is a low-level cloud. Stratus is, actually, no. Cirrus is a high-level cloud, excuse me. Stratus is a low-level cloud, and cumulus is more of a taller cloud here, which we'll be diving into. Actually, right now, we're going to be diving into the different types of clouds here that you may see in the skies. The cirrus, as mentioned before, as I mixed up the two, cirrus and stratus are high and low level clouds respectively here, and I'm going to move myself off the screen so you guys can see the many different types of clouds that are rolling about in the sky, and maybe you can identify them as you're going out and about throughout your day, especially through today as we're expecting some cloud cover. So cirrus clouds, those are the thin and wispy clouds that you see there in the air. They can also be associated with contrails, which are exhaust that comes out of planes that fly at very high altitudes. Those can also be considered clear or confused with cirrus clouds. Cirrocumulus are more the ball heapy types that are at higher altitudes there. That, as mentioned before, cumulus clouds, or the cumulus prefix or suffix, is also known for, also defined as like a ball of heap or cluster of clouds, and it's real choppy in the air there, as you can see in the cirrocumulus clouds. Those are high level clouds between 23,000 to 40,000 feet, and cirrostratus, which is stratus is another word for thin layer. So thin and wispy layers, thin and wispy type of clouds at the higher levels are cirrostratus clouds there. But alto, the prefix alto is also known as the mid-level. So you can also think of this as alto like a singer. Like altos are like the mid-level singers that sing at the the bass to mid levels. They don't sing too high, they don't sing too low. They're perfect right there in the middle. So alto cumulus are like the the ball or the cluster of clouds at the mid levels, and alto stratus are the thin layer clouds at the mid levels. The nimbostratus, though, nimbo is another is a prefix that also stands for thick, and stratus is a suffix that stands for pretty much thin, or not thin, but a lower level. So they can also be seen in the mid and lower levels here, lower to mid levels. So between the around cloud level, so lift and condensation level, which is around a couple, maybe 1,000 to a couple thousand feet in the air, to around 23,000 feet in the air, is where you could see nimbostratus clouds, a thicker layer of clouds that can be seen in the low and mid levels. Cumulus clouds are more than likely going to be shown in the lower levels, the choppy looking clouds that you see there, just cumulus alone, not cirrocumulus, not cumulonimbus, not just regular cumulus, not altocumulus, just cumulus. But stratus clouds are lower level clouds that you see in the air that are very thin, but they're pretty much a thin layer, like a thin, complete layer. They don't have many breaks in the clouds, or breaks in between them. And stratocumulus, they have multiple breaks in between them because they're clusters of clouds at the lower levels. But cumulonimbus is the more a more popular type of cloud that you see there. Those are the storm clouds. Those are the rain clouds that you see. Those are the scary looking clouds that you see when storms are heading towards your direction. And those can be seen at all levels, lower levels, mid levels, and higher levels. And that's mainly because of their tall nature. They can extend farther than maybe even 40,000 feet in the air out there. So they're the tallest type of clouds that you may see when you're out and about. So, yeah, those are the more scary looking clouds that you see when storms are arriving in your area. So that's a little bit about what the clouds are, different type of clouds that you may see in the air. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown and Weather Trivia. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the trivia for today, what we could do differently, make sure to leave them down in the comments if you're on YouTube, streaming on YouTube, or you can email any of us or DM us on Facebook, either me, Evan Thomason, or Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones. You can email us or DM us on Facebook with any questions, concerns, and I'll be asking you guys your opinion on Facebook either later today or in the coming days about what you thought about this episode. I definitely enjoyed it and explaining clouds to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I hope you guys got 100%. If you guys got 100% on the quiz or the weather trivia, make sure to let me know about that too. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in for today. Meteorologist Evan Thomason, it will be on the podcast for tomorrow where he'll be talking about a different topic there. But thank you guys once again for tuning in. I definitely enjoyed this episode, and I'm excited to do another one next week here. But make sure to always stay weather aware as we move through the day today and through the rest of the week. Not much rain is expected. An isolated shower or two is possible, but not much is really expected for today. You can get away with not bringing the umbrella, but I suggest to bring it just in case you get hit by a stray rain shower or two. Now, have a great rest of your day. I'll be on the KSLA News 12 at noon and 4. Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones will be on at KSLA News 12 at 5, 6, and 10. And once again, have a great rest of your day, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode.